Welcome to SAM Networking Labs. Today we are going to explore one of the most powerful defenses in modern web security, hiding behind Cloudflare. We will use the domain www.example.com as our target. The goal is to understand the specific attacks that Cloudflare prevents and why finding the origin IP address is so difficult. Let me explain the core concept before we dive into the attacks. A website's origin server has a real IP address. If an attacker finds that IP address, they can attack it directly, bypassing any web application firewall or rate limiting that might be in place. Cloudflare acts as a shield, hiding the origin IP and forcing all traffic through its global network. We are going to simulate the most common techniques attackers use to find that hidden IP and see how Cloudflare stops them. Attack 1 is the direct DNS query. The simplest attack is asking the DNS system for the IP address. An attacker uses the dig command to query the A record. The command is dig space www.example.com space A space plus short. What the attacker sees are two IP addresses, 104.21.70.217 and 172.67.139.242. How Cloudflare prevents this is that the A record does not contain the origin IP. Instead, it contains the IP addresses of Cloudflare's own proxy servers. The attacker only finds Cloudflare's edge network, not the real server. Attack 2 is certificate transparency logs, which is often called the SSL bypass. When an SSL certificate is issued, it is often logged publicly. An attacker can search these logs to find historical IPs associated with the domain. The command is curl space dash s space quote mark https://crt.sh/question mark q equals example.com quote mark space pipe space grep space dash o space p space backslash single quote backslash d backslash left brace 1, 3 backslash right space backslash dot backslash right brace backslash left brace 3 backslash right space backslash d backslash left brace 1, 3 backslash right backslash single quote space pipe space sort space dash u. What the attacker sees is no output. The command returns no IPs. How Cloudflare prevents this is that the SSL certificate is issued to Cloudflare, not the origin server. The origin server's IP is never exposed during the SSL handshake, so the certificate logs only show Cloudflare's IPs. Attack 3 is DNS history and subdomain enumeration. Attackers know that subdomains such as dev.example.com or mail.example.com are often forgotten and left unprotected. They use tools like DNSRecon to brute force common subdomain names. The command is DNSRecon space dash d space example.com space dash t space brt space dash d space /usr /share /wordlists /cyclists /discovery /dns /subdomains top 1,000,000 5,000.txt. What the attacker sees is a record for www.example.com pointing to 172.67.139.242 and 104.21.70.217. They also see a record for mail.example.com pointing to 102.212.246.107. This is a mail server, not the web server. How Cloudflare prevents this is that the attacker may find subdomains, but all web-facing ones like www are still behind Cloudflare. A subdomain like mail might have a different IP, but it is a mail server, not the web origin. The origin IP remains hidden. Attack 4 is mail server reconnaissance, which is often called the MX record trick. Mail servers, which are MX records, are often not behind Cloudflare. An attacker queries the mail server to find its IP, hoping it shares infrastructure with the web server. The command is dig space example.com space mx space plus short. This returns a priority and a mail server name. Then they query that mail server name with dig space mailserver.example.net space a space plus short. What the attacker sees is the mail server IP, which is 102.212.246.107. How Cloudflare prevents this is that the attacker finds the mail server IP, but when they try to access the website on that IP, they get a 503 error or a mail login page. The web server is hosted on a completely different, hidden infrastructure. The mail server and web server are isolated, preventing the attacker from pivoting. Let me summarize the Cloudflare protection stack in a table. For the direct DNS query technique, what the attacker finds are Cloudflare proxy IPs. Why Cloudflare prevents this is that the A record points to Cloudflare, not the origin. For certificate logs, what the attacker finds are Cloudflare IPs. Why Cloudflare prevents this is that the SSL certificate is issued to Cloudflare, not the origin. For subdomain enumeration, what the attacker finds are Cloudflare IPs for web subdomains. Why Cloudflare prevents this is that all web subdomains are also proxied through Cloudflare.